Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's up, Butterfly?
Hey, Firefly, what's going on?
Dude, we have an interesting episode today.
Dude.
I am so stoked. So, we have kind of talked about how the rabbit hole leads
Within.
within.
Sometimes the rabbit hole leads within.
So, what I'm thinking is, what's kryptonite to the culture club? Love, joy, and hope. So today, what kind of occurred to me was how do we deal with pain in our society?
I know. Well, and also, um, how do we realize that everybody is dealing with some kind of pain?
Yes, I think
Because,
that's important.
yeah, because I think that, you know, sometimes you look at somebody and you think, wow, they've got it all together and they look so perfect and so happy, and they must not have any pain.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get jealous of that kind of thing or they
Yep.
resent it, and then I think there's other times where maybe you come across somebody who's like really grouchy and they're not very nice, and um sometimes that makes us really angry because they're rude, they're not being nice. And
Yeah.
sometimes I try to like make myself kind of think for a moment when there's somebody like that I come across, and I try to understand like maybe they're dealing with some kind of pain and that's why they're so grouchy. And so I think we need to like consider that too, like to just have grace and try not to jump to conclusions all the time. That doesn't mean we're going to like let people step all over us, but I think everybody is dealing with some kind of pain most of the time,
And I
you
think
know.
what you're saying is like walk a mile in their moccasins.
Right.
And
Yeah.
try to like
Yeah.
kind of like relate with them for a minute and
Yeah.
just be like, well,
And then
she's kind of.
if they keep being rude, you might have to just like
I mean,
say something or
some
leave,
dudes,
you know?
some dudes I feel sorry for. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, he's like fat and he's got tattoos and like he's sitting in the shade at the baseball game and
Yeah.
he's watching
He's
football on
taking
his
up
phone.
he's taking up the entire shady area
He's taking up
by sitting in the middle
he's taking up the entire shady area. He's watching football on his phone.
while he's at his kid's baseball
Why
game.
is that his kid's baseball game? Like, okay,
And he doesn't bother to like scoot over or help like somebody
no,
who's helping their elderly parents
he
that can
doesn't
barely
care.
walk.
He's completely self-centered. He's kind of being a jerk. And it's like part of you goes, well, you know what? He probably doesn't have chicks throwing themselves at him.
Yeah.
He's probably lonely.
He probably goes home and drinks like a fifth of whiskey every night.
Totally. And like as a dude, I know how it feels. Like when you're unwanted, it sucks.
Yeah.
And you get butthurt about it. And then, but still, the premise of this episode is how do you deal with pain?
Yeah.
Because even the beautiful girl, she's probably still got some pain in her life that she's dealing with.
Right.
And but what I noticed with like some girls, like they get like an ounce of pain and they go spin out of control. So,
Well, and also back to like the fat bastard that's using up all the
yeah, yeah,
shade.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Maybe if he like didn't act that way, he wouldn't be so full of pain.
Well, that's true.
Maybe if maybe if he was a little bit like kinder to the people
You
around
know
him,
what? That's a good
he
point.
would, you know.
I think a lot of dudes kind of they jump to the conclusion. This is kind of profound. I think
Is this
dudes
an epiphany?
this is an epiphany.
Okay.
Hey, ding 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 ding. So some dudes they come to the conclusion, like I've had to learn this. They go, girls don't want me because of my physical body, which is probably true largely. But what I've found is, I mean, I'm looking back on my life, and I don't get girls with like my six pack. I get girls by being sweet.
Yeah, so maybe like,
Is that you're a girl? I
the
mean, is
fact
that how guys get girls? They get them by being sweet.
well, yeah, you're not gonna get a girl by, taking up all the shady area and
No.
not being helpful to the girl.
See, and I think guys kind of get trapped up in that. They think, well, um, I don't look like I'm supposed to look, like TV says I should look. Like,
So I'm just gonna be miserable.
so I'm gonna be miserable because I'm gonna just assume no girls want me. But which might be true. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm thinking girls kind of warm up to dudes when they're nice
true.
and they're sweet.
Yeah.
And maybe if you can suck up your pain and be considerate of others, you
Their
might
pain
have,
will diminish.
guess what? You
So,
might find a girl who loves you.
well, not only
And she
that,
goes,
but
I don't care that you're fat. I like your body.
um,
I love you.
so this is sort of like talking about a vicious cycle, right?
Yes.
So like what you're saying is that, if you are suffering from some sort of internal pain, you sort of it's sort of like you make it worse by assuming that everybody else is going to just be rude and mean to you. So you just continue that cycle,
Yes.
you know?
Because what if you perpetuate things?
Right.
Like if you have a negative disposition, people kind of respond to you negatively.
Well, that's totally true. It's contagious.
It's
It is.
contagious.
It's more contagious than the cooties.
Like I remember I had like an epiphany one day. I used to work at Squaw Valley. Now that's politically incorrect. They can't call it Squaw
Oh,
Valley
did they
because
have to change the name of that old
that's
mountain?
it's sensitive.
Oh, it's racist.
So Squaw was like Native American young girls. So now we just call it like Olympic Mountain or whatever.
Oh,
But
okay.
Squaw Valley was a ski resort, so I worked in the parking lot, right? And so my job was to wear like those orange vests. So like when you pull into the resort, I go this way, you park right here, and I go park their cars. So one day I felt good inside and I was just smiling and because it is thousands of people. So I literally am greeting like thousands of people.
Yeah.
And I was noticing, wait a second, I feel good inside and I'm warm inside and I'm smiling at people and people were like, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on?"
Yeah.
And I was like brightening people's day
Yeah.
by just saying hi with a smile.
Yeah. So, well, we're kind of like delivering the white pill at the beginning of this episode, I think, because we're going
Yeah,
to get more into the pain factor. But I think it's good to point out that
it's natural.
what you just said is, yeah, your attitude can totally spread to other people, and then you receive it back. So when you have a positive attitude and you don't see negative, you get more of a positive response
Yes,
back
it's
right
so
there.
true.
Mhm,
And in order to do that, what I'm finding is it takes work
mhm,
and you have to know how to deal with pain. Because some people, it's a fact, have a lot of pain.
some people have a lot of pain, and I think that, like, what I was saying is we have to keep that in mind, like, people that we come across,
Yeah.
they might be dealing with some really
But I
painful
think
stuff.
the gist of this episode is okay, let's address some of the people who are dealing with lots of pain. Let's kind of unpack how they're dealing with pain because I think that might be a kind of a big problem in our society.
Right,
How people are dealing with pain is kind of the problem
right.
because people are taking a blue pill and becoming psychopaths.
Yeah, exactly, because, like, what you were saying is pain plus blue pill equals psychopath.
It's an equation.
Yeah,
So if you have pain, you have to heal your pain.
right.
You have to get over it. You have to heal.
Talk about it.
You have to talk about it. Remember Kathy O'Brien?
Yeah.
Remember she came out of that MK Ultra program?
She had gnarly pain.
She had gnarly pain.
Yeah.
And what did she say she had to do? She had to go and she had to be in a safe place, in a safe environment where she didn't feel threatened. And she had to, quote unquote, access her pain. So she had pain that was so gnarly that she had compartmentalized it into like hidden parts of her brain.
Right.
And she had to go access it and heal. And I saw her on an interview the other day, and she's so loving. and she has a smile on her face, and she's always, even when she's talking to Alex Jones, who's annoying, she's so loving, and so she has accessed her pain, and she's moved on, and she's dealt with it healthily and properly. And that's the way to do it rather than just take a blue pill. And
Yeah.
blue pills take lots of forms.
And everybody, some people might have pain that is so severe that, it's really hard to get over.
Yeah.
I think oh, we can never underestimate what somebody's going through. Like somebody might think somebody else's pain is insignificant. You know what I mean?
Doesn't matter.
Because it's not what they're experiencing. It might not seem important to them, but everybody has their own kind of pain and they may be dealing with it in a different way,
Yeah.
But I think what you're saying is, you know, try to talk about it, work it out, you know, and not just cover it up. Like when you take a blue pill, and blue pills come in different forms.
Yep.
It could be a literal pill that is going to make you want to unalive yourself
Go hang yourself.
by hanging.
Doorknob with a scarf, or order your own coffin.
Or it could just be like, I don't know,
Eating.
eating. That could be a blue.
Eating can be a blue pill. Like Fat Steve, he goes to the buffet.
Watching MSNBC.
Oh, totally.
That could be a blue pill.
Totally. People who are obsessed with news. So they wake up, their pain. A lot of pain, I think, stems from loneliness and being unwanted. I think if you gave sodium pentothal to most Americans and you said, what's the real source of your pain? It's loneliness and being unwanted.
Well, okay, that's interesting you bring that up because I think, the title of this episode is We Feel Your Pain.
We feel your pain.
Because I think that everybody listening to us is probably on the same page with most of our theories and things.
Mm.
And I remember during the cooties fiasco,
Yeah.
I felt very lonely and kind of isolated. And I felt a lot of pain because I felt like, what is going on in the world? And how come nobody else understands? Like it was painful to me. Like I felt
Yeah.
very alone that I could see what was happening. And I felt like, where are all the people that should be seeing this?
And how did you deal with the pain? You came down to the Red Pill Corner and you met with me. And then you said, wow, you're like minded.
I know.
And we had this cathartic conversation.
Yeah, I met like a group of people that actually like seemed like they knew what was going on,
And did that
they were
alleviate your pain?
thinking like me. It made me feel a lot better because you know
Yeah.
how misery loves company.
That's right. If anything.
So I felt like some of my misery was lightened a little bit. I felt like, wow, there are other people out there. I'm not alone. And I think that was a big reason for for us wanting to do this podcast was we wanted to connect with people who were thinking these things and feel alone, like they don't have a lot of friends or family that
Absolutely.
thinks like them. And I know how lonely that feels, and loneliness can be painful.
It can totally be it can consume you.
Mhm.
And also think about like if you and I go honestly give our takes at like a dinner party,
Mhm.
we're going to alienate people. They get mad at us. They
Mhm.
hate us. They strike us off their Christmas list.
Yeah.
So it can get really alienating and lonely because you're rejecting what you're doing is bursting their bubble. They're bursting their bubble. People get mad at that.
Yeah.
They don't want you to come burst their bubble.
No.
It's like, well, I'm terrified. And so I use my bubble to assuage my fears.
Mhm.
And you're coming and bursting it.
Right.
So I'm going to be terrified again.
So I'm just going to go turn on MSNBC and
So what I'm going to do,
my fear.
I'm going to hate you. I'm going to hate you because you're making me feel my fear again.
Yeah.
MSNBC assuages. And I think that's probably what's going on. People are using these blue pills to assuage their fear and pain. And so what's going on is the pain is not being dealt with. Like the way, okay, so you're talking about during cooties, you felt lonely. How'd you deal with it? You dealt with it in a positive way. You went and you found like-minded people even as unlikely as it was, you found,
Yeah,
me, and
I
we've been friends for a long time, and other people, and so you dealt with it. You didn't
yeah.
just clam up, and you didn't get bitter.
I found a whole little network of people right here in our blue pill Walkerville.
Yeah,
We live in Walkerville.
and
We do.
so
We
we
do.
do, and so what does that say too? Is sometimes we jump to conclusions that we're alone, but we have advocates and we have friends.
You have to sometimes look for that, put yourself out there.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had just never like ventured out, yeah, I met a few people on like social media, but that's not the same as meeting people in real life in your own
No,
Walkerville.
that's right.
You know what I mean? Like you
No, that's
want to
right.
know people in your own area. Um, and maybe if you're like out like in a rural area, that might be harder, but that's why we have this podcast,
Connect with
right?
us
Yeah.
virtually.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so basically, I think the reason I really wanted to do this episode is because um, we assume some people they've got it going on. Look at
Mhm.
they're in a happy relationship. They've got lots of money. They're so good looking, but who knows what's going on behind the scenes?
Yeah, you never know what kind of pain people are dealing with. Even people who seem like they've got it all together may have some pain that they're dealing with.
Every human has pain.
That's what we need to realize.
Every human has pain. So therefore, some people definitely have more pain than others.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
And
And some people might have really,
gnarly pain,
yeah,
like debilitating pain.
bad pain.
So what we have to do is we have to come up with strategies to deal with pain healthily,
Coping.
coping with pain. And drugs is not the appropriate tact because drugs, what they do is they suppress pain, and then pain lives under the surface for decades.
Yeah, and it's temporary. It's like putting a band-aid on like a broken arm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I
It's
mean?
not healing.
You've got to actually like set that broken bone
Yep.
and heal it. Right?
So what you have to do is you might have to look at the rudiments of what's causing you pain and ask yourself, what can I do about it? And then what was the thing that you said earlier? It's you look at what you do have and you be thankful for it. I mean, that seems really simple, but that's a good way of dealing with pain because sometimes we're dealing with pain about something that we just can't let go of the fact that we don't get to have it. And maybe it's causing us pain. And if we finally just went, you know what, I'm done with that because I have this. So I'm happy now. Maybe that is the way that you deal with it. But what you don't deal with it is by um, see, when you're in pain and you turn to media, that's when Satan goes, good, good, good.
I think that happens a lot because we've done episodes on how like all the media is social engineering, all of it. So
Yeah,
whether it's the news or the movies that you're watching, and
yeah,
you know, everybody needs the escape. Like I like to put on a movie and escape for a while,
yeah,
but you have to keep in mind that there's social engineering involved,
yeah.
and um, there's probably messaging in there that they want you to have. So that's not going to get rid of your pain for good.
Because the media is insidious. They know, like, so you're in pain, and they know that you're going to choose these types of programs to watch because you're in pain.
And they want you to feed on it. So like during
Yeah,
the cooties fiasco, the news was like this nonstop, endless cycle of fear, and like more fear, just pushing out the fears. So you were already afraid and maybe felt alone and were suffering with this kind of pain. But then you turn on the news and it's like, oh, all these people are dying in the streets
yeah.
and it's just like the worst thing ever.
Loneliness can be really daunting these days because if you're red pilled, it's pretty lonely. because most people are walking around blue pilled and you can't
Yeah,
relate with them.
you can't. And so even if you do turn on the news, you're like, wait a second, all these people are believing this, like the whole world is believing this,
It's a lonely
and
feeling.
it makes you feel very isolated.
It feels isolated. See, like we've talked about this back in 1987 when I was like 13. I looked around and I said, all the kids and all the teachers and everybody in my school, all of the administrators, everybody, they're all worshiping the media. Like it just occurred to me.
Hmm.
And I said, I reject the media. The media is two-dimensional. The media says all that matters is what meets the eye. So I knew even at 13, I was like, that's a false, illusory lie. I rejected. But once I did that, I became very isolated and alone because everybody worships the media in our country. Everybody. Like the kid that goes, I'm going to be a professional basketball player. He's worshiping the media.
Totally. You know what this makes me think about is what was that movie with Nicole Kidman where she was like the weather girl? Um and I remember the song they played, she'll talk about a plane crash with a gleam in her eye or whatever.
Dirty laundry.
Yeah, yeah. Remember that song? And they played
She can
it.
talk about the plane crash with the gleam in her
Yeah,
eye. It's interesting when people die. Give them dirty laundry.
yeah, totally.
Because that's why.
Yeah.
Because what do they want to do? They don't
It,
want to give you like good news.
no.
They want to tell you about the plane crash.
Yeah, and how horrible all these things are and like scare you, and it's just it's always fear.
It's
It's
fear,
always
which is
fear.
kind of a form of pain. Fear management is like pain management.
Hmm.
People do the same thing.
And when people are afraid, they become very susceptible to manipulation,
Suggestion. And
suggestion.
I think pain too.
Yeah.
So if you're really lonely and you're brokenhearted, and that is real, and loneliness and brokenheartedness is very, very real. But if
Then you
you
throw in fear.
and you throw in fear, now you go take your loneliness and your brokenheartedness to some media, and the media is designed for people who they go, oh, are you lonely and brokenhearted? Here, watch this. Well, guess what? There's all this subliminal and overt suggestion taking place.
Right, of
So
what
they're
you can
corralling
do
you. Yeah.
to assuage your fears.
Try these pills.
Yeah,
These are happy.
yeah, the commercials come on and those are, "Oh, are you depressed?
Yeah.
Like take this blue pill."
Maybe some Ozempic, you lose 10 pounds.
Mhm.
That's going to get you laid and that's going to fix all your problems. No, no, that's not the way it works. Or they'll say, you have a chemical imbalance.
Yeah.
You're unhappy because of chemicals. We need to give you these pills.
We have some other chemicals for you that's
Here.
gonna fix that.
These are good. So that's one other thing. And then another thing too is the media likes to portray ideal situation and make you feel like you're inadequate.
Inadequate.
You're inadequate.
Yeah.
You don't have this. The
Mhm.
people in the Friends show, they live in that nice apartment.
Yeah, even though, like, they're a waitress and
She's a
some of them
waitress
they
and
they can afford that.
Joey's retarded, but still, like they live in it. Like, so it's like 5 grand a month. There's no way they can afford that. But you're look at your life. You live like you guys have appliances on your front yard. You need to understand you are inadequate.
Yeah.
I think a lot of our media does that. It beats us down. It makes us feel.
It feeds that, like, keep up with the Joneses thing, you
Well, what
know?
I was thinking was, how much pain in our society is predicated on low self-esteem?
Right.
How many people have a low self-esteem?
Well, I think and that low self-esteem is really kind of the root of a lot of problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I think low self-esteem is what makes a lot of people go and cover themselves in tattoos and dye their hair purple and blue and get like those big holes in their ears,
Yeah.
you know? And
Why?
yeah, because they have low self-esteem. So they
But what
think
is
by
that?
doing those things, they're gonna like make themselves feel better, you know?
You know what I think it is low self-esteem a lot of times is predicated on validation from others.
Yeah.
Like people need validation from others, and then they go get the tattoos because they're thinking this is going to get me validation. Now she's gonna be into me because I got big holes in my ears. And some girls are like, oh, so maybe it works.
Don't know.
But I don't think so. I think low self-esteem might be what the Culture Club puts out through our media.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, epiphany.
Epiphany,
So
epiphany.
also, low self-esteem contributes to the follower mentality and the manipulation by the media. Because
Mhm.
if you are a confident person
Yeah.
and you hear like these BS stories that they're telling us on the news,
Mhm.
you're going to be confident enough to like just reject it and say, no, I don't believe that. You don't have to follow what everybody else is doing and what they're telling you to do.
Mm,
You know what I mean? But when you have low self-esteem, you're like, oh, I guess maybe they're telling me the truth and I'm going to do what everybody else is doing.
I'm desperate for validation and
Yeah.
approval, so I'm just gonna get see, because what do you have to do? You have to say, well, that contradicts what is right, and that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna swallow it because I just want to be accepted and in, and I want to be validated. So I'm just gonna accept it. But wait a second, you just said that there's contradictions there. That's contradicting what you know to be true.
Right.
So you know it's false. Yes, it's false. But I have a low self-esteem and I need to be in the in crowd.
So how do they improve their self-esteem?
You know how I've improved my self-esteem? Because I had to struggle with self-esteem. Um, obey yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever thought about that? Like everybody knows, like, I need to get in better shape, or I need to stop doing drugs, or I need to stop that bad behavior, this bad behavior. Do it.
Hmm.
Do it. Obey yourself and you'll feel better about yourself.
Yeah. Don't cave into your
Yeah.
like
Like
weaknesses.
Like if you go, why do you feel like shit about yourself? Well, I weigh 500 pounds. Okay. You weigh 500 pounds. Why do you weigh 500 pounds? Well, I don't, I lay around.
I eat like 5 pizzas a day.
I eat a lot. I eat a lot and lay around. Okay. So now you
Go for
can
a walk.
go for, what you got to do if you weigh 500 pounds and that's the cause of your low self-esteem, it's really easy. You prescribe yourself a diet and you say, this is what I'm going to eat every day. I'm going to have this sensible breakfast, this sensible lunch, this sensible dinner, no dessert, and I'm going to exercise. Believe me, it'll take about 6 months. You can go from 500 pounds down to like perfect weight, but you're going to have discipline and self control. And okay, so do that. You're going to feel better about yourself. But I think people just go, you know what? That's going to take work and time and effort. I'd rather just take some Ozempic and a blue pill. And I'm just going to like fantasize about what it might be like. I'm going to watch shows with good looking people and just wish I was them. That's only going to contribute to your low self esteem. And that's going to, when you start doing that, when you start feeling like I live vicariously through characters on shows because I'm not worthy of that, that causes a downward spiral too, because now you feel like an inferior human being,
Right.
you know? So, how you deal with pain, I think, is kind of the predicate of because what we're kind of putting forth is this notion that Western civilization has gone over the precipice. We're in free fall.
Yeah.
We're in free fall of imploding, and we're imploding because everybody is just taking blue pills and kind of zonking themselves out
Yeah.
because they can't deal with reality.
Right. And most people, like we saw during the Cooties fiasco, really have no backbone. Like
Yeah.
they'll say, "Oh, yeah, I don't think those pokey pokes are good and this and that." But then once they like get threatened with the idea that they might lose their job or something, they're like, "Oh, well, I know it's not good, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do it anyway
Yeah,
because,
because
you know."
low self-esteem goes hand in hand with cowardice.
Hmm.
Remember that video you sent me of the dude in Austin? He's talking to the Muslim lady, and then she's like, "Well, the caliphate is coming," and he was like, "Well, I'm agnostic, and I'll just convert if I have to.
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
I don't care." You know, that's kind of the mentality.
Yeah.
I have low self-esteem. I stand for nothing. I'll
Yeah.
just go wherever I have to
A
go.
lot of people stand for nothing and
No.
they'll just kind of like, well, whatever. They'll cave into whatever the pressure is at the time, you know?
That's another thing too. I mean, not standing for anything, you're not gonna ever have no pain then.
Right.
If you stand for nothing, you're always going to feel like crap about yourself
Right.
because you're just going to be like, oh, well, I'm just allowing myself to be like manipulated and controlled here. That can't feel good, you know? You got to have a backbone.
So another white pill is that you need to stand up for what you know to be right and true,
Yes.
no matter how unpopular it might seem.
Yes.
And when you do that, it will give you more confidence in the end. And
Yeah.
when you have more self-confidence, you feel better about yourself
Yeah.
and you don't feel the pain that you may have been feeling before, or not
Yeah.
as much.
Yeah. Well, like I think about cooties again.
Yeah.
Like, remember how I went down and sat on the corner and started putting a sign out. And
Yeah.
there was no one else doing that. And I
You
would, so I feel good. Like
Yeah,
it's the opposite of low self-esteem. I have like gratification and I feel good about what I did.
totally. And didn't you start doing that by yourself?
I was by myself.
That's amazing.
I know.
I mean, because when I went there, there was like a pretty good like sized group of people. So
Well,
you went out there and you
for
somehow
the first 3 weeks, I
attracted
was by
people.
myself.
Wow.
And it was gnarly because there was a lot of people who hated my message.
Yeah.
Because all the
They
COVIDians,
make you feel
the
unpopular.
COVIDians were like, no, no, you wear your mask. And I was like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not. And so you have to be able to withstand opposition.
Right.
So, but I did that. And now I feel good about myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
When you
So it's
stand
the
up,
opposite of low self-esteem.
it is. When you stand up for what you believe in, then you feel much better about yourself than when you just kind of like cave into the pressure.
Yeah. I think that's what it comes down to. Pain has to be dealt with the right way. So I had pain. I remember when Cooties first started, I was in pain because I was like, okay, I have a daughter, and these people are talking about masks, and now there's talk around the campfire of these pokies. I'm not going to submit to that. So I went down there because I was like, I got to do something. Now, I feel good about the tact that I chose, but pain prompted it because I was looking around and I was going, this is unacceptable to me. All these people are just kind of going along with this media narrative and it's leading to our demise in society. I'm not going to stand for it. So I went out and I did something productive. That's the whole premise of this episode. It's what do you do with your pain? Because everyone's got pain, even the cute girl that's got it all.
So I think what you're saying is maybe you can, um, if you recognize your pain, maybe you can turn it into something productive.
Yes,
I think
that's what it
I
is.
think that's a good message.
That's
You
what
know,
it is. You got to turn it into something because when you have pain, you have a choice, and people make bad choices when they're in pain.
what if like some people might be suffering some horrible pain of something that they went through. Maybe um, I think there's ways to find other people that have gone through the same kind of pain, maybe, and you can reach out and organize a group to help support each other and maybe organize a cause to help people in this kind of pain or try to
Mhm.
prevent it from happening to other people. You know what I mean?
Create like a
Turning,
support group, maybe.
yeah, or create some sort of action to take. And this is like turning your pain into like a positive thing,
I think that's what it
a
is.
productive thing.
I think that's what it is. I think we can turn our society around just by dealing with pain in a positive way rather than a negative way.
And then it doesn't eat you up.
Yes.
You're being productive.
You're being proactive. You're going to go take action against it because if you just take a blue pill, first of all, I've tried to take a blue pill. I've tried to drink and I've tried to smoke when, I'm brokenhearted. It didn't work out with that girl. I'm going to go it doesn't take the pain away.
No, it's just a band-aid.
It's a
It's
band-aid,
temporary.
it's temporary, and you still are going to have to deal with the pain eventually anyways. What ends up happening is things will become kind of a complex. And now
Yeah.
you have a complex.
Yeah.
Now you never got over what she said. And now
You're obsessed.
you're obsessed and you kind of now have like a personality flaw.
Yeah.
because he
And then
never got over her.
you take that into the future, and
Yeah.
then like maybe with like what you're saying, you meet the next girl. Now you've got this issue, and then the next girl doesn't like that about you
No, because every
because you,
time she brings up this, you get all fussy.
yeah,
And she's like over it
yeah,
because you didn't deal with that. And she's kind of going, well, whatever. That's the
yeah,
past. Speaking of baggage, a woman or a man doesn't want to deal with your undealt with baggage.
baggage.
They don't
True.
want to deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm meeting you, so I'll take responsibility from point A forward. Like if I called you a cunt and you're mad at me for that, then I deserve it, and I gotta deal with that in baggage. But if you're bringing like I'm butthurt about what this dude did to me 10 years ago into you and I's personal relationship, then I'm not responsible for that. That
Right.
happened to you.
Right.
So you should have already dealt with that and be bringing a fresh, new, like clean slate to the table.
That's an interesting perspective. Yeah.
Because people don't bring a clean slate to the table.
Right.
They come in with all of their undealt with pain.
Right.
And then,
It
it's easy
perpetuates the
because,
pain,
and some women are gorgeous still. And so you're like, oh my God, and go get with them. And now you're in a relationship with them and they're gorgeous. But
but they've got
now
baggage.
it's like 3 months in and I'm dealing with like, what is going on? And I'm dealing with like this wall that I have inside of you. And it's because you have undealt with pain. And dudes have that too. And what ends up happening with undealt with pain, we've talked about it, is the Larry Fink. Larry Fink loves undealt with pain
Oh yeah.
because what does he turn you into then?
A little finklet.
A little Finklet, which is a mini
Megalomaniac,
megalomaniac psychopath micromanager. You're going to become that because what's going to happen is you're going to have undealt with pain. It's going to cause you to spiral out of control because it's going to cause a complex in your life. Now, the media is going to prescribe you a worldview and a way forward. And they love that.
And because you're in this state of perpetual pain, you're going to take their blue pill, which is the brainwashing and the even
Even a typical pill,
actual
even a
pills.
pill. And then what we've said is when you do that, what you're doing is becoming a psychopath because the media and the blue pills, they both have mind control in them.
Totally.
So now you're susceptible to their mind control.
Yeah.
So they're going to turn you into a psychopath, and your pain is going to be just underneath it, driving your psychopathy.
And I think that I mean, we've discussed this a lot of times, but the pills that they prescribe for the antidepressant pills, they have gnarly side effects
Yeah,
that make you want to kill yourself. And so
literally.
I think all of the pills that they're prescribing have some type of brainwashing
Totally.
effect in them.
Totally. Like if they have one of the symptoms says you may suffer from depression or you may have suicidal thoughts. If suicidal thoughts
Component.
is a component, it's a side effect.
Yeah.
That means they put something in there that causes that.
Right.
And why would they only put that in some drugs?
Right.
They're going to put that in like across the board.
Yeah.
You know?
And if they know that that thing is in there that's causing that, and they've done like test studies to find out that yes, people are actually feeling this way, why wouldn't they just take that component out if they were trying to do what's best for us? Why would they?
Maybe
Why,
want to kill us. I'm just thinking I'm a bad person, but they might want to kill us.
why would they be giving you pills that if you're depressed that are going to make you want to like be more depressed? Obviously, if you want to kill yourself, you're more depressed, right?
Well, what they want to do once they get you in big shawarma, once they get you in big shawarma, they don't ever want to let you out of big shawarma.
No.
They want to fleece you and butcher you.
So if you're, you're bummed out, you're depressed, and you're taking this pill, and now, you're like, now you want to kill yourself. Maybe they have another pill that they say, oh, take this one, and then this one's going to make you feel better, but it actually might make you want to just order your coffin.
You order your coffin now.
That's the side effect.
It's kind of like Donald Trump.
Includes ordering your coffin.
It's kind of like Donald Trump. The big shawarma says one thing and does another.
Right.
So they say this is going to assuage your pain, but it actually makes you want to kill yourself. That's how it works.
By his scarf.
So you're gonna hang yourself with a scarf. They actually have an option. They go scarf or coffin. You can choose. But this is the thing. I think we have a lot of pain in our society. We have a lot of people in pain.
Yeah, I think a lot more now than ever before.
Yeah, like if you think back in the 80s, people were kind of happy and
Yeah,
listening to
they did a
like
lot of coke and stuff back then too, but
I mean, how do you listen to the Pet Shop Boys and be in a bad mood?
I don't
I mean, so people had pain back then, but it wasn't so gnarly. Like now,
know.
you have most Americans are in kind of like constant chronic pain.
Well, and I think that like we talk a lot about how they want to get us away from like traditional family values and like the lifestyle that we had in like 1950s.
Mhm.
Um, I think this is all part of it too, is that, you know, they have people so full of fear and so they're in so much pain that they're easily manipulated and controlled. And it's easier for them to like get people it's like it's another slippery slope.
Mhm.
The more people are suffering and the more pain people are feeling, the easier it is for them to like become more fearful,
Absolutely.
you know?
Because what happens if you heal from your pain? What happens if you have a self-esteem? What happens if you're healthy and you feel good about yourself? You're not going to go along with their corralling.
You're going to stand for something.
You're going to go, wait a minute, why can't I know about Antarctica?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, how come we're sending money to that country from 1948 and they're doing all these atrocious things? You're gonna, if you have dealt with your pain productively and you have a self-esteem, they don't want that because you're probably going to be informed.
Mhm.
You're probably going to be moral because morality kind of slips away with bad pain management too. Have you noticed?
Totally.
Like you try to be moral, but I'm in so much pain. I'm going to just deal with my pain in this immoral way. I think that's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, now you're in a moral bottomless pit.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that. Pain can drive you to become an immoral bottomless pit.
Totally. Yeah.
You got to be dealing with your pain in a productive way. Because otherwise, if you become an immoral bottomless pit, now we've talked about that, that leads to psychopathy.
That's a slippery slope to your
Slippery
demise.
slope. You become a psychopath, and then you're probably going to go in the healthcare system.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I thought this was a good episode. We kind of talked about the white pill, but do you have any other white pills for uh, pain management?
I think we kind of covered it. We need to be thankful for what we do have and try to make, turn our pain into something productive so that we take control back.
Yes.
We're not being controlled by it and by the fear,
Yes.
and
That's a good point too.
yeah,
Being thankful for what you do have because we've talked about this. The media is constantly trying to guide you to this conclusion that you're inadequate. You don't
right.
have enough.
And
They want you to have that contention, rivalry. They want to say, butterfly, yeah, but look at her. She has this, this, and this, and exceeds yours.
mhm,
And they want you to feel envious of her and inadequate to her
and fearful.
and fearful. I'm afraid,
Mhm.
I'm afraid I might lose what I do have. So you have to be cognizant to be every day, just be thankful for what you have. That's a very simple, basic thing. But then the other thing too, you have to learn how to do is let go of what's not in the cards. So I think a lot of people want something that they can't have and they can't stop throwing a temper tantrum about it.
Yeah. That's
You have to, we've talked about that too. You have to stop throwing a temper tantrum eventually. You have to. It sucks. Sometimes you have to say, I don't get to have that. I'm not going to have that, whatever it is. And you have to stop throwing a temper
maybe there's
tantrum.
something better out there that
Yes.
you're supposed to have. So
And
by
maybe
holding on to that obsession, you're not going to get that.
that's right. I was just going to say that. What if, like, not getting over not having that and you throw a temper tantrum, now you close the door on having something better?
Right.
So that's another strategy. I think what the gist of this show is, the white pill is, um, everybody's in pain. The successful people deal with it better.
Right.
I think it's that.
Yeah.
Everybody's in pain. Everybody, at least at some point, has to deal with some disappointment, some heartbreak, some pain. Might even be just a lot of labor that they have to do.
Right.
You know, like when you went to South Carolina, you had to do a lot of work. And that can be painful for some people. Just
Yeah.
like to spend a whole month just like doing a whole bunch of labor and tasks,
Hmm.
not even having a lot of fun. Like you went to a different place and you didn't have a lot of fun. You had to do a lot of tasks,
Right.
but you did it
Hmm.
and you dealt with it in a positive way. You said, no, 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 no. I understand why I'm taking these sacrifices and taking these
To do
pains.
it. And you
I
know
have
what?
to do it.
After completing a lot of those tasks, I felt really like I had accomplished something.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I
You
mean?
did so much because I remember I was
Yeah.
talking with you. You accomplished so much in the
Yeah.
short time you were there.
And it made me feel good about myself. Like
Yeah.
I felt like, wow, I did all of that and it feels good. And, you
Well,
know,
I noticed that about you. I mean, because am I wrong in assuming that you don't live a painless life? You're
no,
not pain free.
no,
You experience pain from time to time.
right.
But I've never known you to come in with a negative attitude to do our podcast. I've never talked to you when you were feeling sorry for yourself. I've never talked to you when you weren't just chipper and graceful and filled with poise and grace. And that is testament to the fact that you successfully deal with pain. You do. You
Well,
successfully
thanks for
deal
your
with
flag.
pain.
I try to. I try to turn it into something productive.
Yeah.
Like, we've talked about various creative endeavors that both of us have like ventured into and tried to do in our pasts, and how there's so many obstacles, and like if you're not part of the culture club, it's really hard to succeed.
Epiphany.
Yeah, but so we started this because
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? Like we feel like we can be creative in this way. What's your epiphany?
Well, you, if you don't mind me being so blunt, you tried to go be in Hollywood. You found out you had to go up to Harvey Keitel's hotel room and you said
Weinstein.
no. Or Harvey Weinstein. I haven't called Harvey Keitel. No, he's Harvey Weinstein. He's a different Harvey. They probably both do it though. But you said, I'm not going to go up to Harvey Weinstein's hotel room.
Or any of those other ones that are like him.
Well, see, he's like I always use him.
He's the symbolic
Yeah,
the symbolic
he's like the
Hollywood
he's like the poster boy.
glutton. Yeah.
He's the poster boy.
Yeah.
So you have to, metaphorically speaking, go up to Harvey Weinstein's hotel room to be a star in Hollywood.
You have to sell your soul.
We've talked about that. You refuse to. And that's why you and I get along so good, is because both of us said, no, I'm not making concessions to this culture club. The culture club doesn't rule me. I'm not going to capitulate to them. So you could have become bitter.
Yeah.
You could have. You
Hmm.
could have been like, well, all I've ever wanted to do was be a Hollywood star. You could have been like that. And you could have been like, I don't get to be a Hollywood star. I don't care about life. I'm going to be bitter and pissed and jaded. And maybe I'm going to go sell my soul now.
But no, I did not do that. I
No.
decided to do my own thing. So I did a lot of my own stuff,
Yep.
you know.
Both of us did.
Yeah.
Like I wrote a book.
Yeah.
Didn't Now my book doesn't get mass distributed,
Right.
but I don't care.
Yeah. And
Like our podcast doesn't get mass
my
distributed.
films didn't get mass distributed, but we can still be creative and
Yeah.
we can feel good about what we're doing. And I think with our podcast, maybe we have like 83 listeners today, but
That would be a good one.
those 83 listeners, like I think they really connect with us. And I think maybe they'll tell some friends and eventually we might have 83 more. And
Well, we've talked about this
we're
though.
getting our message out there.
We're just getting the message out there. We're doing positive things right now. We're dealing with the fact that we don't get to be in the cult and we don't get to be distributed by positively going and creating our own thing.
Right.
But I am under the suspicion that we might be reaching huge audiences, but the culture club doesn't want to give us credit.
Right.
Because if we got credit for every view, we would be even more popular because that's the way people think. They go, oh my God, it's got 3.8 million views. I'm going to watch it. Oh
Right.
my God, they've got 10 million followers. I'm
And,
going to follow them.
and I think like for us, I think, I've always enjoyed doing a lot of the things that like the quote unquote popular groups like to do, but I never really liked the popular crowd. Like I was like in the popular crowd, but I didn't really choose that.
I
Do you know
know.
what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I
So
think is so cool
I
about you
I don't
is
think it's important
well,
to do
because
that.
you're gorgeous.
Well, thank you for
And
your
you're what cheerleader, you're in the in crowd, so you have all of the things that they need. So you meet the criteria for an in crowd person.
Mm.
But that's what's so cool about you is you looked around the in crowd and you went, you guys are fake.
Yeah, totally.
And
I
then
don't like fake.
yeah, you don't like fake.
Yeah.
And you also, what I notice about you, which is so cool, is you don't like compromised.
No.
When people make compromises with their integrity, that's kind of a turnoff for you. You're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I can't really do that.
no. Like what you kind of liked about me when we started doing our podcast was that I stand for what I stand for, and I don't care what the consequences are. And I think you respect that.
Yeah, I think that's why we are able to discuss all these topics because we both just we don't try to edit what we're saying.
We come from
We,
different points.
yeah.
You're the hottie that totally was in the in crowd but was like turned off by him. I'm like the ugly reject dork,
No, you're not.
but I did. I rejected it. So we kind of came together and but from two different perspectives, you know? Like
Are
I'm
you
like
saying that you're Brian?
yeah, I'm Brian. No, no, no. I'm more like the
What's
Elephant Man. I'm like
no,
the Elephant Man.
oh my God.
I'm like, I'm not an animal. I am a human being. But regardless, we've come together by saying, no, I'm going to stand for what I believe in. And even though the culture club rejects me and
Yeah,
I reject the culture club, and that's a very alienating, lonely
it
place
is.
because the culture club is pretty much now saying, by the way, it's not just Hollywood. You don't get to have a job.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's getting gnarly.
Well, you know what? That is a really good point because, like, we've talked about how they do everything from the top down.
Yeah.
So the Culture Club is running the world. And they run all these big, huge corporations and stuff. And so they're controlling what's happening in all the big companies
Mm.
around the world. I mean, there's like one or two people that own like everything. And we saw this during the cooties fiasco. Like they were basically, like forcing people to go get the pokes, which now what we've discussed is everybody could have said no and it would have shut the whole thing down. But a lot of people don't stand up for what they believe in. And so they cave and they go, okay, I don't want to lose my job. So
And you've thought about that too. You made a great point. Like if I go, well, I had to go get the pokey because my job.
yeah,
Well, okay, you could have had a stroke.
yeah,
And then how are you protecting your family then?
yeah, exactly. Like I kept, I don't know,
What if you become a vegetable that your wife has to take care of on the couch now
yeah,
because you took the poke?
or you're dead and
Or you're dead.
your kids don't have a
Or
mother
what
or
if your
father.
kid now has like some gnarly, debilitating condition because you went and got the poke? So that wasn't good thinking.
No,
It was fearful
it was
thinking.
short-term fearful thinking just to preserve what had. It was like not looking at the big picture or the long term.
Like, who's the girl? My coworker.
Yeah,
And we do.
the one that got her nipple pierced on a lunch break.
Yeah. She goes, you know what? We're on our way to Fairfax Avenue and we're going to go get tacos because we work down Miracle Mile. So let's go to Fairfax and get tacos. But on the way, we accidentally just drove by a tattoo parlor and she goes, let's go in. I'm going to get my nipple pierced. Now, so it's an impromptu decision,
Yeah.
but she's not thinking it through. Now, nipple piercing is not the end of the world, but it's a good synopsis because she's not thinking about the fact that she's going to have a long-term bod mod. She's going
Mm.
to have a hole in her nipple her whole life. And who knows, that might get sand at the beach. I don't know. But there's probably some kind of ramifications, but she's not thinking about that.
No.
All she's doing is going, I'm going to go do bod mod right now because it seems like a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get my pokey right now because that's going to let me go on this cruise.
Right.
Well, they're pulling like calamari out of people's veins.
Yeah.
You know, is that worth it for that cruise? I mean, the baked Alaska was really good. But so I think that's kind of what we're talking about is like people stand for nothing. And when you stand for something these days, you're gonna come across consequences.
You are.
So even more important to deal with pain.
But you know what? When you stand for something and you stick to it, you have more confidence
Yeah.
in the end. It might seem hard at first because you're going up against, like, it seems like a lot of other people going against you,
Yeah.
but you feel better about yourself, and then you have more confidence, and when you have more confidence, you're not filled with fear, and when you're not filled with fear, you have less pain.
It's so true. It's so true. And when I talk to people who stick to their guns and stand for what they believe in, they have light and love and excitement in their lives, and they're fun to talk to, and they're so filled with light and life. Whereas, have you talked to somebody who's compromised all the way and now they have millions of dollars?
They're
And
not happy.
they're
They're
not.
not
And they
happy.
have no sense of humor,
No,
and they have no spark,
no.
and they have no life, and they're just kind of like bitter and jaded and like always talking about where they went out to eat and when they went to Cancun and nobody cares.
Right.
It's like that's what it comes down to is you make these compromises because you think, oh well, money is the best thing to have. No, you're what I'm learning is life is about what you become. All that matters, the purpose in life is to become the best that you can be, to become awesome. It's not to obtain things or even accomplish things because everything's passing away. You are the purpose of your life, and what you become is the goal of your life. And so you have to stand for what you believe in, and you have to deal with pain in a positive way. Because when you stand for what you believe in, you're going to have pain. You're going to get rejected. And when you get rejected, you're going to have to be able to be strong and deal with, okay, I'm glad that they're rejecting me because I reject them first. And that takes a lot of
Yeah.
strength. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, anyways, I felt like this was an important episode.
I think so
I
too.
felt like when I look around at our society and I see the ills, a lot of the ills, like if you look at a walker, like your typical walker,
Yeah.
they're just kind of mismanaging pain. I think that might be what's going
That
on.
might be a big, yeah, that's like a major part of it.
It kind of turns you into a walker
Yeah.
because you're not dealing with your pain in a positive way. You're dealing with your pain in a cowardly way.
Right.
You're numbing it, you're running from it, you're burying it. And that might be the predicate of all of the psychopaths that we see everywhere, where you go to Sephora and they go, excuse me, butterfly, you've already had 3 samples. And then, by the way, also, you're trying to return this product. You bought this 31 days ago. We have a 30-day policy. It's very, very firm. So I'm sorry. You're not going to be able to return.
And I love telling you this,
And by the way, I know that you're bummed about that.
and it makes me feel better.
Or you know who, you know who, you know who? No, no, no. No, 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 no. The better one is can I get my frequent flyer mileage
Oh, yeah.
on my app? And she goes, no, 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 no. I don't know how to do it. You just lose out. You don't get to have them. I don't know how to do it, so you lose.
Yeah,
You're screwed.
you're screwed.
You don't
They
get it.
you know what? I just dealt with somebody the other day that was getting enjoyment out of telling me I was screwed
Oh,
too.
nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where that was, but it totally made me think about our discussions because this person was really like happy that she was telling
They
you,
love it.
yeah, that I
I
was
think
screwed.
so. Let's talk about that person. So if somebody So if somebody really like you can tell, like, I am really enjoying your suffering right now.
Yeah,
So that's a psychopath. That's a definition of a psychopath. Psychopaths, they like their empathy gets turned off.
right.
So now they don't empathize with you. And as a matter of fact, it's like the opposite. Now they kind of like your suffering is like getting a massage. They're like, oh, I love your suffering. So if you look at that person, what caused them to become the psychopath? It was probably mismanaging pain at some point. And it could have been at a young age because I notice they're trying to get kids all screwed up at a young age.
Yeah,
Like if you go
totally.
chop your tits off, you got messed up problems. You
Yeah,
got some kind of pain that you're not dealing with properly. I don't know what it totally is probably rejection and
yeah,
low self-esteem.
totally.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
So they got rejection and low self-esteem.
So they think if they go chop off their body parts, they're going to feel better about themselves.
And
That
look at,
doesn't sound like a good recipe for
oh my
self-esteem.
God, epiphany.
What?
What do you think? So the schools are probably doing this. They're saying, let's get these people to chop their tits off, and then we'll give them special attention. And we'll give
Yeah,
them a special bathroom,
totally.
and you get deemed to, and oh, you're a victim. Oh,
You're
I
a
don't
victim
care.
because the victim mentality is like a big deal right now.
So if you're kind of like not dealing with pain properly, you might be like assuaged by that. You're
Yeah,
like, but look at the attention that I'm getting.
right.
Whereas
Yeah.
me, I don't want that kind of attention.
No.
And then, like, oh, you're a victim. Here, come here, come here. Ah, no.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we covered a lot.
That was so good.
Yeah.
That was so good. I think that I don't know why this occurred to me, but it just seems like if we can in this country deal with pain in a better way, I think that might even be the way that we defeat the culture club.
Yeah.
Because what if the culture club's weapon of mass destruction is causing you to deal with your pain in a bad way? They cause your pain.
That's a big like part of it. Like that's kind of the root cause of like most of it.
Yeah.
Pain and fear and suffering.
Well, like,
They
doesn't
want everybody like that.
the culture club creates a problem and then says, here's our solution.
Right.
So they might create your pain and then offer you this plethora
That's
of toxic solutions.
exactly what they've been doing. I mean, it was so obvious during Cooties.
Yeah.
They created this whole problem and then, oh, here
We released it.
now we've got a pokey poke.
And now here pokes in masks.
Yeah.
But we released it. So that's kind of so like
Or whatever.
So,
Whatever
like-
it is.
so like your typical walker, the culture club hurt them really bad.
Hmm.
That's the first thing that happened. It probably happened at a young age. They got hurt really bad. And it
Trauma-based
was
mind control.
trauma-based mind control like MK Ultra.
Mhm.
So they got hurt really
That's
bad.
what the whole premise of the government is.
It's all predicated on that.
Trauma-based mind control.
So at a young age, they want to hurt you. You're going to get hurt really bad. And now you're going to, the rest of your life, deal with that pain poorly and die.
But like in the meantime, we've got a bunch of drugs for you to take that
We've got it all
that you're going
covered.
to pay us for that are going to cause a lot of other
And
problems.
see, that's what I'm thinking. The Culture Club has now this arsenal
Yeah.
of things that they can offer you when you're in pain.
And then those things are going to cause more pain.
They
They're
do.
gonna give you
They-
something else.
So that's their slippery slope. So the first thing is now you're in pain, and then they go, here's a slippery slope for you.
Yeah.
Start off with you have a whole host of drugs that you can choose.
Where you can chop off your body parts.
Chop off your body parts. You can go and worship money and
Uh-huh.
become completely materialistic.
Sell your soul to Satan and become a big Hollywood star
Become a
or
star.
music person.
All of those, every single one of those, the end product is psychopath.
Right.
I think I like it. What's going on? That's the epiphany.
Yeah.
So we have to understand the culture club is causing your pain,
Yeah.
and you have to deal with your pain in non-culture clubby ways.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to turn you into a
So
psychopath.
reject the culture club.
Pretty much.
Whatever they're doing, whatever they're saying, reject it.
Reject
Yeah.
culture club.
Yeah. That was good.
That was so good.
I know. Well,
Okay.
talk to you soon.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.